So welcome to City Square and a new setting for Ask Vincent Live. You are very welcome, not only here in City Square at the Etihad Stadium, but also on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the City website as well. It's my pleasure to welcome once again the Manchester City captain, Vincent Kompany. Vinny, thank you. For some extraordinary reason, you've decided that after a week of incredible sunshine, that the day of the week that has 10 degrees less on the thermometer and a wind just beautifully, briskly coming across us, that you've come outside. So thank you, and you're a fool.
Yeah, you're welcome, no problem.
Let's start just a quick reflection on today's match. And we have questions that have been hashtag Ask Vincent Live, and they've been coming in all day, and so you can still get your questions in to Vincent before the end of proceedings here today. We'll refer to that in a moment, but the game, 3-3, disappointing to drop points. How impressed were you with what you saw in the last 10 minutes from your team, bearing in mind what had happened in the first 80?
Yeah, well, the reality is that it wasn't a good performance, and I think that with what we've shown at Eastlands for the past year or even more than that, we can be disappointed after this result. But usually it happens like this, that for 2 or 3 days everybody's going to be disappointed, everybody's going to feel as if we've lost it. But in the next 3 or 4 days I can guarantee you that we'll start believing in it again. There's no other choice.
Well, the first Twitter question comes actually about today's game, and it comes from Jack Timon, at Jack Timon. Thank you very much, Jack. He says, what do you think it takes for a team to get back into a game as well as you did today? What are the real qualities you think you showed, particularly in the final 10 minutes today?
Well, I think when it comes to our team, I think we just have to perform at our level. And we've done it in the last 15 minutes. We've not done it previously, and that was the problem today.
It takes team effort, doesn't it? You need that. There are special players in your team. Do you often sit there at the back and just, well, if you're not going to do it yourself, of course, but do you often think to yourself, I know that these guys can deliver, I know that these guys can produce something special, just keep hoping, keep waiting, and it'll happen?
Yeah, well, that's the feeling you have when you play with great players like this, that there'll always be a moment where they're going to make something happen for you. But still, the reality is that you have to work hard for it, and today, for a long part, we didn't do enough. And again, the disappointment is there. But I'll be the first one to be in on Monday or tomorrow even, and get the heads back up. And we have to believe. There's no other choice.
Thank you to Tom Hutchinson, who's tweeted in at TomHutchie22. Thank you, Tom. Talking about great players that you're playing with now, he dives in right at the deep end and gives you an open-ended question that's almost impossible to answer, no doubt. Who is the greatest player you've ever played with? And you've got 20 minutes, so
No, it's difficult to say. I think it'll be someone from this team. I just feel like after this game I don't even want to name anybody. I'll do it after a victory. But there's a lot of players with so much quality, and I couldn't just pick one out.
That is a captain speaking, disciplinarian right to the very core of the team spirit, that's for sure. We also would like to welcome here on the City Square stage 2 fans who have won competition, Foursquare fans they are. They're with us too. Justin and Pat, welcome, and of course Danny and Natalie. They'll be asking a question or two later on as well. But back to your questions on Twitter, and whilst we're on the subject about good players and brilliant players that Vincent knows or has played against or played with, let's turn now to Hamid Badi, who has sent this tweet in, many thanks to at Hamid Badi9. He says, in your opinion, who are the best 3 players in the Premier League? What I'm going to do for you, Vinny, because of what you've just said then, is let's say outside of Manchester City. Who do you think the best 3 players in the Premier League are, apart from wearing the blue of the Blues?
Well, I think Steven Gerrard is an amazing player, so he'll definitely be in my top 3. A hard one, but I'll say Rooney is one of them. It's true.
You wanted to do this outside, it was your choice.
No, but I have no problem saying this is true. And then, I don't know, a third one, I think Drogba is an amazing player, and at his best, he's one of the most difficult players to play against.
Your Twitter questions coming in all the time to #AskVincent. We're on Twitter and Facebook and the City YouTube channel as well as the City website. Let's turn to our group of fans. Natalie, you have the microphone in your hands. A question to the Manchester City captain, Vincent Kompany.
Okay, thank you. First of all, Vincent, I just want to say thank you for coming here. I think everybody really appreciates you coming out today, especially after today's game. I think it shows a lot. It shows the character that we all know and love about you. I was wondering, you've taken to Twitter really well. Is it nice to have that sort of vehicle where you can put things straight? Because was it a couple of weeks ago you were misquoted in a French paper, and on your Twitter you were able to say, no, this is what actually happened.
No, first of all, it's a good thing you're able via this kind of social media to be a little bit closer to your fans, to the people that always get a version in the newspapers or on the news that is, a little bit deformed, or that's a little bit twisted in a way that it suits the story rather than the reality. And it's a good vehicle, and then other than that, it's just fun as well.
Yeah, don't forget, these guys aren't some sort of 55, 60, or no offense to 55 and 60-year-olds on Twitter, or indeed on not on Twitter. It's good fun, isn't it? And it's the kind of thing that these guys enjoy just as much as we do. He mentioned Wayne Rooney, so I'm going to ask a question about Manchester United very briefly. It comes in from @Shams_Sulalam. Many thanks to that tweet. Do you think the Manchester derby will decide things come April the 30th? Do you think that will be the deciding game?
I don't even know, but my opinion is that it doesn't even matter. A derby is a derby, whether we play for the title or even a friendly game, it's always important. And we're going to play in that way that there'll be just no difference. It'll be as important as if we win the league or we play for a friendly.
It'd be extraordinary to think if it ended up being, you'll probably only know that after it happens, but if it does become a title decider, you don't need to necessarily ramp it up more than that, do you? Just the game itself, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? And I suppose those fixture computers had a bit of a ball when they picked out this game just before the end of the season. Did you realise at the beginning of the season that it might possibly have something hinging on it?
Yeah, as soon as the fixtures list come out, you know straight away, okay, they've put this game in the end. It's going to be a very important one. But I'd like to stress the fact that it just showed that we've made a lot of progress. That's us now playing to win the league. And I've joined the club 3 years ago, and it's a massive step forward. And I look towards the future, and I think it's not going to be long. I can guarantee you this.
It's always something that I think you've said when you've spoken to me and to others since you joined the club. Whilst it's always very important to not get too far ahead of yourself, you've always said that you want to see this team improving. Not necessarily game by game, it's almost impossible to expect that. But incrementally, over the last 3 seasons, that has happened. You're going to have more points than ever before. You're going to finish higher than ever before. You've already got more goals than ever before. As somebody who can perhaps put a little context on things even before the finish of the season, do you feel that as a club? Do you feel that as a team? You have improved, and it's something to pin your flag into a little bit, I think.
Yeah, but it's all about winning trophies ultimately. That's the only thing we want, and not just one trophy, everything, and that's what we have to play for every single year. But we're getting the club to that stage. It's going to happen, and it's true. 3-4 years now, we've always improved every single year, and this year we're going to improve again. Hopefully we can win the title. If not, which I don't count on, but we'll be there. We'll keep improving next year, and it should be there hopefully soon.
Let's get a question from Will Ashley, @WillAshley95. Many thanks for tweeting into Ask Vincent Live. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and the City website here from City Square at the Etihad Stadium. He says, how do the players feel when they see the fans doing the Poznan? It's something that happens after every goal, the celebration that started last season. Fans turn their back en masse and they jig up and down. They do the Poznan dance. I suppose you're celebrating so much that you don't necessarily have a chance to take it in.
Yeah, although lately a little bit less, but I would say I haven't seen the Poznan for a while, if I'm honest, and I wonder what's happening. So
it could start again.
Yeah, no, listen, it's great, especially because it reminds the good moments, and the FA Cup final, FA Cup semi-final, we've done it all there, and it reminds the good moments.
Tell me, have the players ever even thought, just for one moment, about perhaps just after scoring a goal, all turning around and doing it for the fans as well? Because you have planned celebrations.
Oh, but we've done it at Wembley. I remember I went into a supporters club, and they asked me, "Are you going to get the team to do the Poznan at Wembley if we beat?" It was at that time United, and I said, "Yeah, of course we'll do it." And obviously we won, like everybody know, and we all did the Poznan with the fans, so it was a great experience.
I suppose the problem with the stadium that's all the way around, you're always going to be turning your back on the right people, but showing your face to the wrong people. Thank you very much to Heru Fabian, who has an extraordinary Twitter address, @BaboonRacer. Thank you, Herian, for having the creativity to think of that, and also to tweet in to Ask Vincent Live. He says, who is your favourite sportsman or sportswoman outside of football, and why? Do you have an idol from another sport that you can tell us about?
I like Muhammad Ali. I think he's great, and I've always been a great fan of boxing, and Muhammad Ali was had a lot of the characteristics that I appreciated, and he was great. He was unbelievable.
Let's turn to our panel of fans and ask Danny if he can come forth with a question for Vincent.
Hi Vincent, nice to meet you. I've always wondered what footballers, obviously your opinion is on your FIFA 12 character. And what's it like playing when you're actually playing yourself on the screen? And have you ever dropped yourself?
I always think I'm not as good on the FIFA games, you know, so maybe they can do something about that. But, you know, I'd rather not play with myself, so I'll drop myself, because otherwise I'll get angry and frustrated.
That hopefully didn't get lost in translation just at the end. Yes, very, very careful indeed. Vinny, talking about languages, actually, obviously you're a multilingualist or a polyglot, as Gordon Hislop asks, and he is @Mancunian56, and he says to Vincent on Ask Vincent Live, as a polyglot, what language do you think in, and does it always stay the same?
It's a good question. I don't even know. I guess I think in English now more than I do in any other language, but it changes from time to time. I don't know. If anyone speaks a lot of different languages, they understand what I mean by that. You just don't know which language you're thinking, and you think in all the languages.
And of course, at home you'll speak English, I would imagine, and you will, I don't know, do you get angry and speak in French? Do you just give us some Flemish? I mean, are there some French people in? Hello. Do you often change mid-sentence?
No, it's funny because when I play with my national team, if I'm angry, I actually speak in English. So that's how much I've adapted to this country already.
Speaking so many languages like the dressing room does, do you often find yourself, I don't know if you do this before a game or during half-time, do you deliver some sort of inspirational team talk, do it half in English for the English guys and for the Spanish guys? Do you ever do that, or do you just keep it nice and simple for everybody?
No, I mean, you know, in our team we have a lot of mature players, so it's all right. You know, people know exactly what they have to do, and that makes it easier. When I play with the national team, sometimes I have to do it in 2 or 3 different languages. So, because Belgium speak obviously French, Dutch, and some German. You know.
It's ironic. You go and you speak to the national team, and those are the ones that you have to speak the different language with. We'll talk about Belgium in just a moment, but first of all, Rushi MCFC, which is Rushiela Huja, thank you very much for tweeting in to Ask Vincent Live. He says, what does Roberto Mancini say to you before each game, and does it change depending on the game, or does he have, like American politicians do, a stump speech, if you like? What does he say before the game?
No, I think, you know, he's very, very clear in what he brings across to the players, always positive, obviously, but ultimately it gives tactical advice. You know, we need to know where we need to stand, which we didn't do too well today, and we need to, you know, play in a way that we're gonna dismantle the other team, and you know, usually it works quite well. So very tactical.
You're on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and the City website as well. It's Ask Vincent live from City Square at the Etihad Stadium with a gathered group of fans and indeed our panel of fans on stage. I'm going to turn to Justin now. Justin, you have a question for Vincent.
Hi Vincent, thank you. As Natalie said, thank you for taking the time to do this. All the players get off the coach with the headphones on. Who has the worst taste in music? Who has the worst taste in music?
The worst taste of music? Well, it'll be Mario. Yeah.
Micah Richards, mark it down, make everybody know.
No, it's Mario. Horrible taste of music.
Oh, Mario, sorry. Can you give us an example? And does he ever get to choose the pre-match music?
No, he's just always 4 or 5 years late with his music.
Fair enough, fashion is a transient thing. Talking of music, now that you are an adopted Mancunian, and you are very welcome as being that, no doubt, we have one here from Stu Walsh, which is at shoulder_charge. Thank you very much. Vinny, Manchester leads the world in terms of music, he says. As an adopted Manc, do you like any Manchester bands?
How can I not say Oasis? So obviously, yeah. But you know, other than that, I've met quite a few people like Mike Pickering and obviously the Gallaghers, and you know, I'm aware a little bit of the music tradition in Manchester, but you know, that's about as much as I can tell about it.
Musical tastes of footballers is always a much discussed thing, and let's be honest, they don't necessarily represent the youth of today in the best possible terms necessarily. One little final one here, Vinny, and we thank you for being here with us. It's about the national team, and it comes from Adele Gandhi. Many thanks to you, Adele, which is at Why Always Me 45, which is relevant to a certain teammate. I believe Belgium will be a force in a few years, says Adele. If you can have anyone from that team here at City, who would you pick? And you can't say yourself, because clearly you're already here and you're probably already the best player for Belgium anyway, he says sycophantically.
It's a difficult question, but I think you know, some of the most gifted players of our generation will be probably Eden Hazard or Moussa Dembele. They're incredible players, and they could play in any team in the world, so always welcome.
Well, as the wind just strikes up and blows hair and clothes and pieces of paper across City Square. I know everybody watching live around the world, or indeed in repeat on the City website, will be very grateful for the thoughts of Vincent Kompany's come out here after a difficult afternoon, and it is pretty chilly here in Manchester. When is it not? He knows that. You all know that. Many thanks to him for joining us here. Ask Vincent Live once again has been on Twitter, Facebook, on City's YouTube channel, and indeed on the City website. I know there'll be some applause here from the City Square fans, but as they applaud,
thank you very much.
I know that everybody around the world watching this will also appreciate his time. We'll be back again soon, hopefully before the end of the season. Vincent Kompany, ladies and gentlemen.